having a good tonight, Dorothy. Welcome back. And just for the record, Austin and Keena, she got called in, so had to stay in their work late. So that's why they couldn't make it. So tonight, before we get started, let's reintroduce ourselves since it's kind of a new group. And tell us your name and tell us a hobby that you like to do. And since Darlene's new, you can tell us how many children you have. So go ahead. We'll start with you, Darlene.
My name is Darlene Stolzfus, and we have 6 kids. And
their ages, like
they
ranging
range from 18 to 2.
Wow. That's awesome.
Impressive.
And I would probably say reading or scrapbooking, online scrapbooking. That would be
Okay.
my hobbies.
Awesome. Yes, thank you for coming and thank you for filling in for Austin and Keena. That's awesome. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Yes. Go ahead, Matt.
Well, I'm Matthew Armin, Dorothy's husband, and my hobby is
The
work.
hobby? I was going to say your hobby's going to be a hard one.
No, I
Sound like my
You
husband.
have to
like-
pick a hobby.
I like woodworking, hobbyist, so
Okay.
working on woodworking projects.
I'm Dorothy. And my hobby, does shopping count as a hobby?
We'll say it.
No. I used to like scrapbooking. I would again if I would get back into it. Decorating or shopping is my current hobby. So maybe this winter I'll get back into scrapbooking.
Perfect. And children.
Oh, 3 ages 5 through 10. 5 through 10.
Awesome. So we're going to, Darlene, just fill you in. Last time we talked about nutrition and how, like, you're a runner. So you know if you eat well, it affects your running, right?
Absolutely.
So we were talking about nutrition, and their homework was to journal what they all eat for 2 days. So tell me, Dorothy forgot. Okay. Well, tell me what else you did do. Maybe we'll
I
just
did
do
the
that
workout
next time.
thing, the pelvic thing.
Okay.
I was
Good.
5 out of the 7 days. I
Awesome.
did the
Like the one healthy
the one
change
healthy change with sugar.
with sugar. Awesome. How did
I avoided
that
sugar excellently until I made pumpkin pie.
go?
But for the most part, like I always am so shocked. Like every little bit of sugar that you cut out, you just start feeling better.
Mhm.
So I had more energy. My legs didn't bother me as much,
Awesome.
and the pumpkin pie was delicious.
Very
But that's my goal, is to continue to,
Mhm.
cut most of the sugar out.
Good. Good. Wonderful. That's exciting. And did you keep any track of your water intake? Like, do you feel like you're on top of that?
Yes.
Good. That's wonderful.
I drink a lot
Okay. That's good.
better. I said yes. Like I'm kind of still in that summer mode where I'm
Mhm.
like constantly drinking on ice water because I'm outside.
Good.
So, yeah.
That's wonderful. Good. 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 Awesome. So, Darlene, since you didn't journal, but tell me a little bit because you run, and I know you're training for
Was running and was training.
for a half marathon, right?
I ran a 5K and got the blues.
But tell me a little bit, so since I'm not a runner, like tell me a little bit how when you eat good, how it affects your running, and when you eat bad, how it affects your running. Or,
Well, I would say protein. Like, protein is probably a big thing for me. My
Okay.
body needs that. And if
Mhm.
I don't eat enough of protein and drink enough of water, I simply don't have the strength. And I can't
Wow.
keep running. Like,
Mhm.
I have to, like, I positively can't keep going.
mm-hmm.
So I would say drinking water is huge. Like,
Okay.
drinking. And not just, like, not when you're running, but hydrate the day
Mhm.
before.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's just what I'm.
And getting in good sources of protein.
What are
Wonderful.
good sources of protein? Or like what you
I was gonna say, what does your body like? What
I
did you
know.
find that you like?
I eat a ton of cottage cheese.
Are you serious?
I
And cottage
seriously
cheese would be
eat
considered
so
a
much
protein.
cottage cheese. It is, yeah. But I also like I try to do at least 2. I know you should have protein every 3 hours, but I don't do protein that often. I do like if I do a good source of protein, like I'm like twice a day, like
Okay.
have like meat for supper or lunch or something like that.
Okay.
But yeah, other than that, and then collagen. I usually add collagen to my coffee.
Would you
Right
get
now
more
I'm not
than
drinking
one
coffee,
dose of collagen per day or one scoop?
I think it's a tablespoon. Yeah, I usually use a tablespoon. I don't use the scoop. Are you supposed to, I'm just trying to think, for the Trim Healthy Mama, are you supposed to use a scoop or a tablespoon?
I think it kind of depends how much.
I was gonna
like
say,
how
I
much
try
you
to put
kind
a,
of
like, I don't
feel good
fill
on.
the scoop completely, I don't know why.
Right.
I don't do it every day either, so that's
Right.
kind of why I was just curious if you should take it every day.
It's. I mean, it's not gonna hurt you to take it every day.
Because, the other thing was I would put protein into my morning shake, so I'd have a scoop of protein powder,
Right.
like the whey protein in the morning with my smoothie, and then in the afternoon I would have part of a scoop of collagen in my coffee. And I was like, is there something like having too much?
I don't think so, and it's kind of a thing, I was gonna say, if you guys, if you wanna take it a step farther, is journal, keep journaling your food, and then,
That I missed.
and then,
I'm so excited to do that.
like, we'll do it next time,
Okay.
and then like, kind of keep track of how you feel. It'll tell, like if you keep track, you'll soon see a pattern, okay, this is what I actually feel good on, this is what, and then you can like kind of make that into like a habit, like what your body feels good on, so. Just a tip if you want to do some extra stuff.
My body feels good on coffee.
And a question from last week, the matcha. That is fine. Like,
Okay.
there's nothing wrong with that, and it's like some people like to kind of do that instead of coffee, which is a healthy alternative. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Matcha. It's like a
A green tea.
green. Look it and
You should
tells
try
that you'll
it.
find it. You might like
was-
it.
No caffeine?
It has the
I wanna
natural
say
kick
it
like
has-
caffeine. Like, I don't know what it is in it that makes you feel like it's caffeine.
Yeah, I think it does have some caffeine in it though. So
It
But
does,
there's
it's
not as
caffeine,
much.
but it's a
it's like the
complete,
natural.
it's a different form that you get in coffee.
Okay.
And you don't crash afterward. Like sometimes when you drink coffee and you're tired, you can crash or whatever. And I had tried drinking that afternoon for a while,
Okay.
and I was sick. And
And it was,
Yeah.
it didn't keep you up at night or anything?
no, I tend to do coffee around, like in the afternoon,
Okay.
like 1 cup. And it was, I forget what was going on, if it was making me feel sick or something. Something made me try the matcha, and I liked it. Now that I'm feeling better, I can get how it's
Yeah.
So, I like the coffee flavor.
So there's, one to get, it's a healthy thing, some people like to use it instead of coffee, so try it out. Did you practice relaxing? Darlene, since you didn't practice relaxing, tell me, you can think a while I talk with Darcy. Think about some things that help you to relax. When you're actually gonna focus on, you know what, I am gonna relax and just kind of getting your whole body to relax.
Yes.
Did you
It took a
think
while
of anything?
to get into, like, to
Mhm.
still your mind, and but yeah.
Yeah. Did
I
you?
don't think I didn't do that every day.
Okay. Did you think of anything that helps you, helps you just to get into that mode? Like you kind of have to start out, like you kind of have to, it's training yourself really. So did you think of anything like dim lights or oils or anything like that?
Did I think of anything that helped?
Yeah.
I would say worship music,
Okay.
but I didn't necessarily play worship music while I was relaxing.
Okay. Good.
For me, it's reading.
Reading.
Yeah. Reading immediately relaxes me.
Okay. Wow, that's
No
awesome.
idea why.
So when you relax, sometimes people, like you say, you kind of have to get into that groove, like to relax yourself. Sometimes we're so busy and you have to actually be like, okay, you know, I am going to relax. And sometimes if you're like, where do I even start? Just think about if you're sitting, okay, feel your butt in the seat. If you're driving or if you're standing, feel your feet. Because instantly you have to like stop and think, where are my feet, what am I feeling? And then from there you can start relaxing. So it's just kind of a thing where it can help you start. We're gonna talk about that a little bit more in the lesson later today. But one thing I did want to touch on with alcohol, so we went over the things that are not good for baby. So when mom has like a small glass of wine in the evening, it takes the edge off for you, you know, it just kind of helps relax. Baby, on the other hand, feels the effect of that glass of wine 100% more than mom does. So can you imagine little babies
So does
nicely
it relax?
tucked in here? So in other words, if you have a little glass of wine, it's going to go through your placenta to baby. So in other words, your baby's going to be drunk because it has the effects 100% stronger than you did. So just kind of think of that before you drink a glass of wine when you're pregnant. And it is hard on baby's liver to process all of that. So that just kind of helps us bring into perspective that, okay, that glass of wine that you're drinking, what's it doing to baby? So I just wanted to make note of that because I didn't mention that last time. So the pelvic tilt, and you said you faithfully did that. That's awesome.
My workout video actually has a very similar one in, so
Okay.
that I just counted that as it's standing
Awesome.
up. It's the same, like using the same muscle, or like you're leaning over. So I counted that in
Yeah.
when I was doing, and then I did the pelvic tilt
Good.
on days that I didn't work out.
Good, awesome. So what I want to say to the pelvic tilt, even to make it a little more so if Dorothy, if you get on the floor, we're going to do pelvic tilts now, just so
Now?
I can kind of show you, and Darlene, I'm going to do it for you, to show you. So get on all fours again, so we're going to get on all fours. And what you do is kind of like, the easiest way to explain it is like arch your back like a cat does, like kind of like, so I'm going to put my hand in just so you know where to arch it, yep. Okay, so Matt, if you want to go to the back of Dorothy and at like her butt crack, really, that's like the only way. When you are arched up, only when you're arched up, if you just put like some pressure, like right there, just put like a kind of like a nice firm pressure. As she goes down, release it. So you can release it, go down.
Like my back?
Yep, let your back go. Stay on all fours and just
Oh,
relax.
okay.
Yep, and then just put your back
Okay.
down. Now arch up again, and then just put some pressure and keep it on. Hold it for like 3 to 4 seconds, and then release it, and you can relax it. So just that pressure just kind of helps your spine and everything
it feels
align. So
amazing.
it does.
Like
And so,
even the whole doing them every day.
Mhm.
Like it always feels like I don't think that my back is sore until I do it. It's like,
Uh-huh.
oh, this feels so good.
and if you just want, it's just kind of like an extra, just that pressure, and it feels amazing. But just only do it when your back is arched up. So I wanted to make that, because that's one thing I did forget to mention also last time. So as we are talking about preparing for labor. So kind of fast forward to, okay, we're like 8 going on 9 months pregnant. What does our body do to prepare for labor? For moms, what does the body do? You guys can answer me on that one. Like, what's gonna all
You have
happen?
6 kids, you should know.
I'm like,
Braxton Hicks.
Braxton Hicks,
Would that
yes.
be part of preparing for
Mhm.
labor?
That's part of preparing for it. And a lot of times, our Braxton Hicks, which you had asked about them last time, and honestly, the more children you have, probably the more Braxton Hicks you're gonna have. Did you find that true for
oh,
your
yes,
pregnancies?
Absolutely.
Okay.
False labor like crazy.
Yeah. So kind of what it happens
But like
is,
just
go ahead.
early on,
You're
I
saying,
think I started my first Braxton Hicks at like 3 months,
really?
like way early, and then I started taking Natural Calm.
Okay.
I don't take it quite every day, but it does make a huge difference. Like completely eliminates them almost.
I don't remember ever
But-
having it that early.
Yeah, that's what I had asked my midwife about it, and she said if Natural Calm is helping, that means your body just needs magnesium.
Okay.
She said if it doesn't help, it just means your body's doing its thing. You know, whatever it tightens up the muscles.
It kind of tightens up. Yeah, so kind of what Braxton Hicks are is like just kind of getting baby, which it shouldn't be that early, but towards the end of pregnancy, it's just kind of engaging baby in your pelvis. So like the cervix, what's happening, okay, so first of all, the cervix is that long neck thing that connects the uterus to the vagina. It's kind of like that neck, it's got the mucus plug in there to keep all the germs out. So what happens is, as you're getting closer to the end of your pregnancy, the cervix can start effacing and then start dilating. So effacing is, so it's kind of long, 3 inches, it starts like shrinking, in other words, it starts thinning. So when it's at 0% effaced, it means like it's in its full, its thickness. To 100% effaced means it's paper thin. So that's what's happening. And then once that is thinned out, then we start to dilate. And that's when we go from dilation from the size of a Cheerio. This is honestly amazing when you think about going from the size of a Cheerio to the size of a bagel. That's so.
Look at bagels.
You'll never look at bagels the same.
Oh,
But that is pretty amazing if you want to see it a little bit differently. So we start out here at 1 centimeter, and then like right around here, this is like your 4 and 5. Sometimes when if you go into the hospital, they'll check you and say, oh, you're 4 or 5 centimeters. And then this one's 6, this one's 8, and this one's 10. So that's just kind of how your body, like it's, what happens is baby's all hooked up here, but we'll have to give just for this. So here's your pelvis. And I'm going to pass this around. This pelvis has no give in it. There's no molding it. But God created us so amazing that your pelvis actually has some give. And that's why it's so crucial when you start labor to move, because different positions you do can open up your pelvis 1 inch. Which 1 inch doesn't sound like much. Well, there's a baby coming down through there, 1 inch is a lot. So that's what baby, yeah, that's like your backbone, your spine kind of goes in through there. So I just, yeah, that's your, oh, this is your pelvis. So as baby's coming, I don't want to get ahead of myself here. Your cervix. All right, so we got dilation from 0 to 10. So as baby, think about baby's head is engaging and pressing down on your cervix, and your cervix thins and then it starts to dilate, starts to open up, getting ready for baby's head to fully come out through there. And so, we'll do that later. I'll get you all up and running in a ping pong ball to help you kind of get the drift of that. So we talked, you asked about Braxton Hicks last time. What do you do for Braxton Hicks? Darlene, do you have any, like you've had 6 children, what's your best, like what do you do with your Braxton Hicks?
I don't know if I don't think I ever had like, I mean I had some, but not like some women would talk about. But like I would just probably work faster. Probably roll
You're
through.
So pretty much your Braxton Hicks, there's really, like, you want to make sure you're hydrated and you can lay down and rest and stuff. But you kind of, what we try to tell women is try to embrace them, because the Braxton Hicks is your body saying, you know what, I'm practicing getting baby in the right position, I'm practicing for labor. So in other words, just kind of count it all as practice, and probably the more you practice, the less, like, you know,
The
shoulder.
better you'll be at
Yes.
labor.
So try to embrace your Braxton Hicks contractions.
So
I
you're
know they
saying
can be, because your Braxton Hicks are kind of like a practice, like they're
Okay.
kind of just like
So
your body warming up.
Not
practicing.
necessarily breathe. I mean you don't have to breathe.
You know,
right?
if they
Like,
get tough and you need to breathe through them. But usually, I mean, usually they're just kind of more that annoying.
right. They're like a cramp, right? Period
Kind of.
cramps.
That's what a
That's
lot of
what
women just
I
kind of like,
would
they're like, they
describe
feel
them
like they're
as,
cramps and just,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's kind of.
I guess I just worked to get my mind off of the pain. That's probably
So you
a lot.
kind of went on with normal life.
Yeah.
As much as
Is
you
that
could. And
what
that's
you should
really
do
good.
or
Like, I
not?
mean, make sure you're hydrated. You always want to
Right.
make sure you're hydrated. And if you're like, working and they're kind of really annoying, go ahead and lay down. Because sometimes that can kind of pause them, or take a nice warm shower or bath or something like that. But as much as you can, embrace them and go on with normal life. So yeah, that's how our bodies dilate. That's how the cervix works. Now we're going to talk about, so we talked about the Braxton Hicks, the false labor. Go about normal life as much as you can. And do you guys want to do this with me? You have a ping pong ball inside your balloon. So what you want to do is very carefully, put your, put your ping pong ball inside your balloon. Oops, I need more ping pong ball. And so what you want to do is just kind of at the opening of your, like just kind of go like, just kind of work with your thumbs. And like open it up like that.
So you
Kind
put
of
your
like,
thumbs
put your thumbs, yeah, just kind of like work it up
Okay.
on your thumbs, and then you can kind of like pop it
Oh,
open.
that's so much better.
I promise I'm gonna get it.
As I say, if you can't, we can pop it in this one.
Okay.
Okay, once you got the ping pong ball inside, you can go ahead and, here, just, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You can go ahead and,
Break my thumb.
there you go. You can
Okay,
go ahead
so blow
and
it
put
up.
some, yep, blow it up. You don't have to blow it up real full, but get some air in. Uh-oh. You good? Okay.
Like that or more?
You might want to blow it up a little more, like kind of this size.
Blow on it.
And then you want to just like, yep, hold it and get. Maybe not perfect. Here we go. I got another one. And get your
I don't even know where it
ping
went.
pong ball. It went behind you.
Wait,
So
you're
just like
blocking
your
me?
ping pong ball.
How
Yep.
cool.
Just kind of, you can kind of shake it down and it should engage.
I have no idea where it went.
You're fine.
You said it went behind you. You're behind the couch.
What?
Her balloon isn't knotted. Her balloon isn't knotted. The ping pong ball is blocking.
Mine ain't coming out.
Yours isn't to say, it'll be with C-section. All right, now if you just put some air in and then get your ping pong ball to block it. Yeah. I don't even have any glue anymore. If you can unknot it, that would be great. I was gonna say.
Now you're saying put the ping pong ball
Now just get the
See?
ping pong ball to kind of like engage and just kind of.
Oh, there
Yep, there you go. Yep. All right.
You're not gonna be able to open that thing.
We'll let him work. So what we're going to do is our Braxton Hicks. So our Braxton Hicks are normally on the side. So what we're going to do is go ahead and give your balloon nice and gently some Braxton Hicks. Kind of watch what your ping pong ball is doing. We're going to get some Braxton Hicks, okay? All right. So if you see here, ball, which was representing baby, is starting to engage. That's going into our pelvis. Now we look, this is like our cervix here. And the more Braxton Hicks, the shorter the thinning of the cervix is. So,
Your ball coming
Mhm.
out?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
cool.
So now what we're going to do is true contractions, which kind of start at the top and go down through.
It's
Start
not
at the top
right?
and go down through. Now we see babies coming down through. Babies
And my
making
cervix is
the
thinning,
cervix dilate. Some true contraction. Now, we can just let baby sit there because that's all the farther we're going to go. Where we're nicely, fully, the more baby comes down, the fuller we're dilating. And if you want to birth the baby, you can. It's up to you.
I'm afraid to
Well, it shouldn't pop. Definitely it's supposed to pop, but it shouldn't pop. But if you want to, you can just keep giving your baby some contractions, just slow and gentle. Slow and gentle. Baby keeps dilating. You see? Keeps dilating. Keep softly, gently. Working baby down through. Nice.
It's not coming out.
Gotta push.
I'm blinking and I'm like all stressed
All
out.
stressed out. But we can just leave baby sit there because it's we're nice and dilated when you're like older. So we can just leave baby sit. If you want to keep working on baby to get it out, you can. That is fine. So that just kind of shows you how your body is, what it does when baby's prepping there for labor. So false labor, we talked about that. Go on. The best advice we can give you is go on with life as much as normal. Don't try to work and be like, don't try to be like, hey, this is like Braxton his, let's get this into real labor. Like just kind of, especially if it's at night, we say go to bed and sleep. Take a nice warm shower and go to bed and sleep. As labor begins, what are some signs that, okay, you know what, this is not Braxton Hicks, or this is not false labor, but this is the real thing?
I never had a real
You never had a real one.
going
Well,
into
let's-
labor, so I don't
Let's say, okay, labor, having babies in the movies, usually everything happens really, really fast. That in real life, most days, is not true. So what are some signs that we're like, okay, we are progressing towards labor? Kind of some things that are like, hey, you know what, labor, it's our body's really considering doing this thing.
Isn't like bloody discharge?
Losing your mucus plug, kind of like the whole bloody show thing, that
Water
is a
breaking.
sign you're water breaking. And also just backing up to the whole mucus plug thing, which some women, it kind of freaks them out, is like they'll have like a little bit of a bloody show, mucusy discharge. You can have that after sex, or usually towards the end they'll check your internally, and sometimes you'll have that too. So just the thing, because that way you don't like freak out when you see that. So we did sometimes even just like more of a mucusy discharge than normal. It's kind of like a strong mucusy, increased mucus discharge. Yep, so we did that. And what, remind me what you said. You said
Water breaking.
water breaking. Yes, that's always a sign. And sometimes that can be a huge gush. Sometimes that can be a trickle. And sometimes you also want to remember, sometimes baby is nicely in there and he will move or kick or something, and it's right on your bladder and it can make you pee.
And you think it's
And you'll think it's your water breaking, and it's not actually your water breaking. So you kind of want to, if it's kind of like a trickle, kind of like pee, because it can sometimes like look the same, just kind of see if it keeps coming or not, or if it's just like it was one time and then nothing happens. Because there was a lady in church, she was sure her water broke, and she ended up going to the hospital, and here just baby did something, and here she just peed herself. But she didn't have any control over it, so she didn't think it was her water breaking.
Right.
So yeah, just kind of keep that in mind. That normally that dramatic doesn't happen, but just keep that in mind. Sometimes a restless backache. Sometimes the backache that just kind of comes and goes, and depends what it's just kind of a restless, achy backache. The bloody show, leaking. Those are all things. Sometimes you'll get nauseated. You can vomit and have diarrhea. What that is kind of cleaning out your intestinal tract, making room for baby to be born. So sometimes you'll have that. So those are signs that, okay, you know what, we're probably progressing towards it. What are some signs that, you know what, this is true labor?
contractions a couple minutes apart.
And they are progressing. So in other words, they may start at something like 10, 15 minutes apart, and they will progress, getting closer together. what you had said, your water breaking, that's definitely a positive sign. How many centimeters do they usually say that you are when it's like, okay, we're in labor? Do you know what that is?
Don't know for sure.
Jackie, do I guess no? 4 centimeters.
4.
I was
Yeah.
gonna guess 4,
Yeah.
but not that I knew.
Oh,
Like, it's not that I knew that,
Yeah.
just because that's kind of the middle of the road.
So they
Mhm.
say 4.
Usually
Then
means
they
you're
say you're
4.
in labor.
And then
So if
that's
you're having
usually-
contractions and you're 2 or 3, that doesn't mean you're actually in labor.
That's usually what they would consider like the prodromal labor. Like a, yeah. But,
That's interesting.
I so wish I would have known then what even I know now, even though I don't know it no, still don't know it near all, but
Yeah.
like I wish that I would have, you know how, like you just did it and we just have our 6 babies and I feared labor with every one of them and I think I could have been more relaxed
okay.
if I would have known, you know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
if I would have been
You
in
know
a,
more.
yeah,
Yeah.
in a class like this. We did birthing classes, but that was just basically to breathe,
Breathe in and breathe out.
Yeah.
Yeah, been there, done that. So yeah, so that's kind of what your body does as it's preparing for labor. What we're gonna do is look at what baby does, what's happening with baby, and then we'll take a break, bathroom break and a snack break. But let's look at baby. So here's baby. What's happening with baby as pregnancy gets towards the end?
Baby might start turning the right way.
Mm-hmm.
There.
Yes.
Dropping.
Yes. So baby kind of like drops, engages. Its lungs are definitely maturing. So that's always one thing, they're, when you carry full term, their lungs have more time to develop, more time to mature. The presentation, that's kind of like what position is baby in. So we have baby, this is the best way you want baby.
Back facing.
Yes, baby facing the back. So that's the vertex. We've got breech, where baby's presenting part is either its butt or its legs. If that happens, don't completely give up on that, saying, okay, that's what, we're gonna have a C-section on that. Some things that you can try is a chiropractor. And you wanna make sure they know the Webster technique. So it's just kind of, they know how to do things with a pregnant woman. Or you can do external, which external is done at the hospital. They have an ultrasound and they'll
How
see
long
how
before
baby
your
is.
due date can the baby be flipping?
That's a good question. Usually, like towards like the last month, once they get into position, they stay in the position because they're running up. I mean, they don't have a lot of room to move, but there has been babies that like were in a wrong position, and so the mom did like chiropractor and different things like that, and then it did change. So
Because I know, I'm trying to remember, I know Grayson was